A very warm welcome to all the members of the Global Young Academy. I'm privileged to be speaking to all the members of this young scientific fraternity. 21st century is the age for science and technology. 21st century is also the age where science and technology is likely to make a lot of difference in the lives of human beings and change the whole paradigm of development in times to come. My name is Pallav Bagla, and I have been a science journalist for the last 25 years, working mostly from India, but have reported from over 60 countries across the world, having reported things like the Fukushima disaster, the big scandal around the Himalayan glacier melting which came from the IPCC, and now I have been reporting very intensively the novel coronavirus pandemic or the COVID-19 pandemic. Today, more than ever, science and science communication is at the fore. Let me say very bluntly, during this coronavirus pandemic, personally, I have felt, and having been a science and technology reporter for so many decades, that I have personally felt very let down by global science and technology and global science and technologists. To handle the coronavirus pandemic, there are no drugs, there are no vaccines. So are we living in the 21st century? Is this the century where science and technology is supposed to make so much difference? What are we using today? We are using almost prehistoric means of trying to control the coronavirus or the COVID-19 infection. Physical distancing, hand washing, wearing masks. These are all highly ancient techniques. I'm not saying it is easy to develop a drug or a vaccine against the novel coronavirus, but then so many bright minds that they haven't been able to come up with a solution is something which is amazing and which defeats the common man, and the common man certainly feels let down. India has invested heavily in science and technology. The world has invested so heavily in science and technology. Globally, people respect science and technology personnel and scientists and hold them in high esteem. So at this stage, not having a drug, not having a vaccine, but having to deal with literally prehistoric means to control the coronavirus pandemic is something which is befuddling. And that is something we need to worry about. The coronavirus pandemic has also brought to the fore the need for science communication. Science communication as a stream has not been well recognized. Across the world, if you count, there are not too many journalists and science communicators, and in India, there are even few. At a point when the world needs more understanding of science and technology, there are fewer and fewer science journalists available because at this stage, jobs are being lost by journalists in a very large measure. And it is a very difficult thing. Science communication also brings to the fore to my mind the need for effective communication to be done by scientists themselves. And how do scientists communicate? Usually through research papers. But the recent example which we have seen, where we saw two very high-profile international journals, the Lancet and the New England Journal of Medicine, literally stumble on their publishing of the papers on the hydrochloroquine and its clinical use, I think left the lay public feeling that there is something amiss in the whole process in which science is done, and in the whole process in which science is communicated among the scientists. This whole episode where the Lancet and the New England Journal finally had to retract papers left a lot to be desired. This also brings to my mind a very big issue which young scientists will have to deal with in times to come. Today, more often than not, there is a requirement that scientific publishing and academic publishing happen in open access. This is something which young researchers need to come to grips with. Today, young researchers in India tell me they are at times paying up to $3,000 or $4,000 for publishing every single paper in a recognized journal. And then what happens? These journals either charge money for access for the papers to the lay public and to the scientists, or they are open source. If they are open source, then they are fleecing the authors. No, I'm not talking of predatory journals. I'm talking of regular journals, which are charging exorbitant fees to scientists for what are called article processing charges. Somewhere along the line, I think especially in India, there is need for having a high quality journal which is controlled by Indian scientists, where high quality science is published in India, and the expenses to the scientists and the public are not large. This is really the need of the hour, and if scientists don't do it, I'm sure the governments will force them to do it, which is to publish in journals which don't charge exorbitant fees, or the same journals which have high quality but charge less. This model where journals were charging either very large sums of money to the libraries and for access of those papers, and the other model where authors were paying large sums of money for publishing their papers, I think the time for that has gone, especially in India, where bulk of the funding for science comes from the taxpayer's pocket. If the taxpayer is going to pay for the science, then the taxpayer likes to have access to the material which they have funded. So publishing is going to overhaul very soon, and I'm sure young researchers would be very much in tune with times to come, and they would themselves look in a direction to ensure that policies are changed. As far as science communication goes and taking science to the public, there will always be journalists who will work hard to ensure that quality science is taken to the public. During this coronavirus pandemic, we have seen there has been literally carpet bombing and blanket coverage in newspapers and television channels, not just in India, but across the world. But what is most needed is science communication in the mother tongue, science communication in the vernacular language. And I think both scientists and science communicators in times will have to adjust to the fact that more and more communication should be done in the language which the public understands. I have reported science for a very long time. I hold sometimes strong views, but then that is the job of a journalist. I am a mirror to the society, and I hope I have been able to convey my strong opinion and feeling on what science and science communication should be like in the 21st century in times to come. Pleasure speaking to the Global Young Academy, and if anybody wants to reach me, you can reach me on my email ID, which is pallava.bagla@gmail.com, or on my Twitter handle. I'm always available to answer questions. What a pleasure speaking to the young scientists across the world. Thanks a lot for giving me this very nice opportunity.